Good morning, everybody. Still got the people trickling in here, so I'm going to give it just a minute or two. Just want to make sure that everything's functioning properly. So if everybody can hear me, there's a little hand raise button that I'm sure a few of you are familiar with. You could click that button just so I know that I'm being heard and that I'm coming through loud and clear. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Dana. Appreciate that, guys. We've done this before where I've gone halfway through the webinar only to be interrupted by a coworker who says, "Nobody's hearing you, man. You're talking at a wall right now." So gotta make sure that all our technology is working. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get started. I'm sure there's some more people trickling in, but that is okay for exactly that reason, and because you guys, we know you're running a business and certainly might get interrupted here. We always record these and we always put them up on our website. There's a link on the last slide, or you can just go there. There's a section for webinars, training videos, knowledge base articles. So if you miss this, or you need any other education, always go to our library of knowledge online. And over the years, it's become pretty vast, and I'm pretty proud of the size of the knowledge that is available we've accumulated over the years. So if you ever have a quick how-to question or something, the knowledge base is always a great place to start. There very well could be a webinar about it. Okay. Well, today we are going to be talking about a new support method that we've been working on here to kind of increase efficiency a little bit. Before we get started, as many of you know, my name is Chad Klein. I've been an account manager at Paladin for 5-6 years now, and I am excited that you guys all decided to join us, take some time out of your busy morning to sit down with us and listen to our webinar today. So we're always trying to find a better way to support our customers. We recognize that many of you have small how-to questions or simple requests for help, and many times it can be cumbersome, especially with the easy, simple stuff, to go through the process of calling us, emailing us, getting a case created, and then waiting a little while, getting a call back, only to get an answer to a question that, maybe something kind of simple. And so we're really trying to make that process a little bit more efficient, kind of reduce the barrier of entry for our clients getting in contact with our support team here. So some of the things that we're going to be talking about here, just quickly want to go over what is chat support, when to use chat support, some situations of when not to use chat support, as it is built for a specific purpose and we don't want to use it for something that there are better methods for. And then at the end, it's very easy. We're going to go over how to use it. We're going to keep this webinar pretty short and sweet. I'm not a big fan of taking 20 minutes to explain something that can be explained in 7. So we're going to go through it pretty quick and then let everybody get back to our busy day here. So we developed chat support to connect with clients quickly and easily without having to use another channel like the website or phone. This is not to be confused with Chad support, which I know you're all disappointed is not a thing. But you guys can always call me. However, there may be a better way to get quick answers or assistance to a problem. Now, with all of our updates, we roll them out by location. We usually go from west to the east, no bias to our lovely East Coasters. And in fact, you guys always get them when a lot of people have used them. So if you're feeling a little left out that you may get things last if you're on the East Coast, just know that by the time they get to you, they're fully fleshed out. So hopefully there's no issues or little bugs crawling around in them anymore. But if you don't have this feature yet, and I'll show you how to check and see if you do here in a few minutes. But if you don't, just give it a couple of weeks. This is going to be rolled out. I've been told in the next 3 or 4 weeks or so, kind of by location as we roll out west to east. So if you don't have it, just wait a little bit and then you will definitely get it. Just keep checking from time to time. This support is going to be available in the normal support hours from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, just like normal support. So that would be from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can use it to share links. So if you're trying to reference something, you say, hey, I don't understand this knowledge base article, you can go ahead and copy the link into the chat support box there and send it to us. Just kind of a good way to let us know what you're talking about. Maybe we can be on the same page. And then in return, we'll send you links as well. So sometimes your questions can be answered with a simple knowledge base article. So we'll be using this to link you with some existing training materials that may be out there. Now, we do keep a transcript of all of the chat support conversations. However, we don't send them to you at the very end. So if this is something that you want recorded a little bit more permanent, use email or create a case just like you would normally is a good way of doing that. Okay, so when to use chat support. If you got a simple, quick question, like a little how do I sort of thing, and again, simplicity is key here. A good example would be, how do I add a class? How do I add a department? I forget, how do I enter new employees or change the permissions or access level on an employee? What does the net box and invoicing do? Little how-to things. Great way to use this. They're great things to use this for, excuse me. Things that you may not do or interact with in your day-to-day, and you just need a simple and quick answer. Chat support's going to be perfect for that. Very quick, very efficient. It can also be used for small issues, so not just how-to questions, but hey, can you help me reset my admin password? Yep, someone can hop on your computer and kind of walk you through that, get that taken care of very quickly. My receipt printer is not printing. Boom, we'll just go ahead and give you a call, and now we can fix your receipt printer without having to go through the rigmarole of you calling us or sending an email or anything like that. Simply bring up the chat support, let us know the simple problem that you're having, and someone can reach out to you pretty quick. You can also use it to request for a training session. Hey, I need some help on how do I process my EDI files. Now, the question, how do I process my EDI files, probably wouldn't be a good use of chat support, but when can I get a training session on how to process my EDI files would be exactly the sort of thing that we're hoping to use it for. You can also use it to place web store orders. So running a little bit short on receipt paper, don't have the time to go in there and put an order in for yourself, bring up the chat window and say, hey, Paladin, can you please order me some receipt paper to Farm and Home Supply? And then, boom, we'll send it on over to you. And then also for links to educational materials, just like we talked already, if you're like, hey, I know there's a webinar on how to do special orders. In fact, I know there's 2 of them, a part 1 and a part 2. I can't find them. Help me out, and then we can go ahead and connect you with that particular knowledge-based article, webinar, or video. So some of the reasons why you wouldn't want to use chat support is store down emergencies. If the issue that you're calling about is preventing you from completing a transaction, we have a special service for that called store down support. Many of you have probably used it. The idea behind it is to kind of help us play a little bit of support triage and make sure that the really important, store breaking issues get taken care of first. So when you call support, there's an option for, once you hit the support option, there's an option for, if this is a store down emergency, press that option. That lights up every support phone in the building so we can assist you right away. Chat support should not be used for issues that are large and need super speedy, immediate attention. If your credit cards are not processing, do not bring up the chat support window and say, hey, credit cards are down. You need to call the store or downline, emergency line, and you'll get help from someone right away. So that's kind of the method that you want to use here for that sort of thing, not sending us a little chat. We're pretty prompt so far in our beta testing. The alpha beta test group has been responding pretty positively to the chat support. It is pretty prompt. It's just not a good place to let us know that the building is on fire. It should not also be used for extremely complicated and involved issues. If you're having a problem with an EDI file download or a data issue, do not use chat support. If items aren't scanning, obviously that's going to take it'll probably be less efficient because we just need to have a conversation about it, right? What items aren't scanning? What is the reason? Are we missing leading zeros? There could be a ton of reasons for that. Chat support's probably going to be a little inadequate as far as passing that amount of complex information back and forth. So not a good example of what to use chat support for. A good thing to do would be to ask yourself, can this issue be diagnosed and explained in a single sentence or two? If the answer is yes, perfect. Use chat support. If the answer is no, call us, email us, create a case just as you would normally, and if it's an emergency, of course, use that store down line, which I'll remind you all is 24/7, 365. So if you're broken and it's Christmas night or something, there will be someone available for you. Chat support should also not be used for complex training questions. Don't bring up chat support and say, how do I import? Importing it could be simple, but it can also get kind of complicated. More than anything, it needs to be done correctly. And it's not really the level of issue that we're trying to tackle with the chat support. We want to tackle more simple stuff, not how to be importing. However, what you could use chat support is to set up a training time with one of our trainers for the importing. So the question wouldn't be, how do I import? But can Paladin call me at 1:30 today to go over how to import, export? And then we can, go back and forth with you to make sure that we have a trainer available at that time. You guys are available, and then we can call you at that time. So just a kind of an easy, quick way of letting us know what some of your needs might be. All right, and then finally here, how do we use it? It is going to be auto-enabled for all clients in the coming week. Like I said, if you don't see it in your version of Paladin, just give it a couple weeks. It'll be up there. But how you find it, I've made a little picture there, snipped out a little image of the top ribbon in Paladin with all the modules on it. You can see I got a little arrow pointing to that help. What you'll do is you'll click on that help box, and then that will open up the help menu, and right at the top is one called chat support. You'll hit that chat support, and then this little box to my left here, this little picture that I've got up here, will come right up. You'll see a little loading bar there. It'll be like connecting. Usually, in my computer at least, it connects within 15 seconds. It's pretty quick. And then from right there, you can start typing. Pretty simple. Some kind of a nuance to it is hitting the enter key doesn't actually send the message. It goes down a paragraph line. So like if you're trying to type us a long message, you could hit enter to make a paragraph break and then keep typing. What I don't want to have happen is somebody use this, hey, my receipt printer isn't printing, hit enter and then click away or downsize this, thinking that you've communicated and sent the message to us, when really it's still just sitting in the bottom little white text box there. So once you type, either hit F8 to send that message or just navigate the mouse to the send button and click on it, and it'll go ahead and send it there. And then we'll get a lovely Paladin support representative very quickly to reach out to you and say, hey, this is Paladin support, how can we help? And then you can go ahead and tell us about your problem or request for training or purchase whatever supplies that you may be needing. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is all I've got for you today. Keep in mind this is recorded, so if you ever forget any of this stuff, however, it's pretty simple, so it should be pretty easy. But if you ever forget any of it, you can always go right back to the recorded webinars on our website. I'll open this up just for some questions. Does anybody have any questions? Looks like we are all questionless, but if you do ever have any questions, please call support, or if for some reason, if you've already got it, you can open up the chat support menu yourself, give it a try, and ask your question there. And if you would like to, for some reason you're really excited about the chat support and you want to get started a little early, you could always call our support and have us get you on that version of Paladin so you can start using it right away. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us today. As always, it's the reason why we keep doing this is you guys keep joining us and listening. So really appreciate your morning, and you guys have an awesome day. Thanks so much.